So hi everyone, welcome back to the Pinks Boutique podcast. It is Luke again on his own doing an interview with one of our upcoming and most exciting spa partners. I get the luxury of driving around the country and catching up with our friends and supporters of the brand, none less so than the fantastic Kate Bender, who we met. I'll let her tell you the story, but we've known for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and I've had the pleasure of working with her on a number of her projects. The most recent of which is Studio Zest, and we've just done a Facebook Live of that, so we'll put a link to that in the podcast notes so you can have a look around what is a fantastic space, a fantastic idea, and we're just going to have a chat basically. And for those of you out there that are interested in Pinks Boutique and the sort of different places we work with, I think Kate is a shining example of the different places that you can take the treatments and the products and make them fit into whatever environment is best for your business. So, Kate, how did we meet? Let's start at the beginning.
Well, we met, it was about 4 years ago, and I know that because my daughter's just turned 4, and it was just after I had her that I took over a company called Pamper Piste, which is based out in Val d'Isère and Courchevel and Maribel, and we provide in-house spa treatments, massage and facials to people who have rented beautiful chalets for the week while they're skiing, and instead of finding a hotel to provide the treatments, we can go to them and set it up. And then they also have a Pamper by the pool, so we do exactly the same but in villas in Mallorca. So we're off to Mallorca on Sunday to do the setup. I've got a couple of therapists already over there, and then we're taking a third therapist out there, which should go very nicely. So we met when I took over that, really.
Awesome lifestyle. I should mention we're actually taking a leaf out of Pamper by the pool, and we're sitting outside in the sunny Somerset countryside. And so if you hear a few odd noises in the background, don't worry. But
just the birds tweeting.
Yeah, it's just the birds tweeting. But obviously before that, what were you doing? Because that is just a great idea. It's a great business. I know it was functioned before you took it over, but you've expanded it since then. What got you into this, and what were you doing before?
My husband and I are both physiotherapists, and having sold his company in London called Six Physio, he had a year's non-compete, so we took over a physio company called Physio Val, which basically provides the same treatments, but it's massage and physio rather than massage and beauty.
Probably massively needed on the slopes of
Definitely.
The social skiing slopes of
Definitely. So we had ran Physio Val for I think 3 or 4 years at that point, and got approached by the owner of Pamper Piste, Anna, to see if we'd be interested in taking it over. I was 8 months pregnant, and that was the last thing I was thinking of doing. And
this is why we get on so well with Kate, because she's the only other 8 pregnant person that I know like Kirsty. It's just like, yeah, we'll do something else.
And next, move on.
Yeah, let's add something else to the mix.
And then after I had Beatrix, I after 3 months got a bit bored, and so needed a new project. So recontacted Anna, and decided to take it over. Phoned her to find out whether or not, or emailed her to find out whether it was still available, which it was. And then we went into 6 months of negotiations to then launch Pamper Piste again for the following season, which we accomplished.
And so how much of this is the opportunity to keep that lifestyle of travelling and running a business? And obviously, you wouldn't take on a business that wasn't successful anyway, but is this as much a lifestyle? And we always use that. We always
a
use
lifestyle
that
choice.
But we were talking earlier about Tim Ferriss, who's written a great book called The 4 Hour Week, and I think things have developed, and we were talking about working mobile and how easy it is to be connected worldwide. That I think this idea of a lifestyle business is sort of undervalues it, in terms of it's really about being successful at business and having a lifestyle that goes with it. It's not a lifestyle business in the sense that you're not taking it seriously or you're not committing to it. It's just about actually making it work for both, what you want for your family and what you want for your business.
That's definitely why we started going over to Val d'Isère, and why we wanted to go and do our first ski season. And then we just got addicted to basically doing London in the summer and Val d'Isère in the winter. And it's been really tough. We've unfortunately had to give up as much travel now. We've got my oldest, Fitzroy, has just started a local school, but that also brought us out of London. So our most recent project
Yes.
has brought us out of London and set up a new studio in Tisbury in Wilshire, actually, not Somerset.
Oh, so
You
many
got it
borders.
wrong.
I've driven 3 hours this morning. I lost count of the counties.
We're next to
think it's 7
Dorset
at least.
and which one was it? Somerset. Are
Somerset.
all within minutes away.
Yeah.
And so we, by complete luck, found this amazing village. All we were really looking for was somewhere that had a train station straight into London, and that was our main criteria, exactly.
And was that as much for you to go back, or obviously I get the feeling, I'm speaking to the ladies, we were talking earlier about promoting the business and how far people will travel, and obviously maybe for beauty and relaxation that's maybe 20 miles, but for physio and for Mark's side of the business, people
Even
are coming
bigger.
from London.
Some people definitely will travel out from London. If they're this side, will come out of London to see Mark or myself. But also when Mark's not travelling with his work, which takes him all over the place.
Speak of the devil, there he is.
We're just doing a little podcast, Mark. Do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
So we managed to be extremely lucky, and we found this little place called Tisbury, and just by complete chance there was a shop with a house above it and behind it available right on the high street, and we bought it.
So just perfect for running a business, keeping the family together and getting a bit of peace and quiet away from London.
No, exactly. But we didn't, the interesting thing was we didn't actually come out here thinking of buying a shop. We were looking for a house. And we were just
and as we discussed
really
earlier,
lucky.
You just couldn't help but have an idea and
just go with it. So we had a physio company in London at the time, which we sold our shares in, and purchased a new house with a shop. Spent about 5 months doing the planning and doing the building works, and we opened Studio Zest now 6 months ago. Fitzroy's at the little local village school. And Beatrix will be starting next year, and our lives have changed.
And so what was the sort of elevator pitch for the business when if someone comes in the door and haven't ever seen Studio Zest? Obviously I've been lucky enough to see it grow from basically bare walls, but it seems to me it's a very fresh space. The branding is awesome. Even just walking the door I felt relaxed.
It's a really interesting energy to it, actually. And it tends to get the sun in the afternoons, which kind of brings a different energy into the area. But most people that come in might have looked at the Reformers through the window, or are just intrigued, really. We only just got our logo and our name on the door.
Good timing.
2 weeks ago. Prior to then, people didn't have a clue what was going on, so would literally walk in to ask. But with that, we have become I'm now fully booked. We're taking on a second physio that's starting in a couple of weeks. Amy's been on board for 3 months now, and she's more or less booked out. And so without any branding, without any marketing, we've gone from being empty to
zero
being
to
full.
hero.
Yeah.
Which is, it just goes to show. If you have a presentation, if you have an idea and it's well put together, I think people just get that. Like I said, when I walked in, even though I knew what it was, I was still shocked by exactly how well the space worked and how the feel was exactly right. And obviously, the idea of the business is physical well-being.
Physical well-being, exactly.
So and again, we talk a lot in Pink Critique about skincare not just being about
what you put on your skin. We've just done some smoothies that we've created specifically for either energy or for skin. We've got one called Glow, which is for your skin. One called Vital, which is just a general energy booster. And another one called Calm, which is an anti-inflammatory, which is anything but calm. It's got tons of spicy cayenne pepper in and turmeric and everything, which is a bit of a shock when people first taste
expecting
it.
To sit back and
the
relax.
irony we enjoyed.
No, and it is, and it's a fantastic way to look at obviously health. It's we're launching men's skincare later in the year. This is being recorded in June 2017, and in a couple of months we're going to be launching men's skincare, and that is a lot about making sort of men particularly understand that the two are linked. What you are eating, how you're relaxing, how you're looking after yourself holistically will affect your skin and how in the reverse, if you feel like confident, if you feel good about your skin, it's all a cyclical thing, and it all fits together really nicely. So do you have a good crossover when someone walks in the door? It's easy to sell them both.
Yes, they're looking to feel more healthy, to look more healthy, to be more healthy.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a massive crossover between the people doing the Reformer weekly classes and having their facials and having their little tweaks from here and there from the different various sports. There's quite a lot of cycling around here.
Around here?
Yeah.
I think we're at the peak of cycling in general. Our accountant, Claire, who's fantastic, admitted that her husband had 5 bikes.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was impressive. So, obviously, and he's just I suppose, a recreational cyclist. So he's been up Mont Blanc. I've certainly been into the Alps. So it's serious in a way, but it's a massive industry. And I think a lot of people have probably gone into it quite hard and then realised that, they need looking after as well. So
definitely.
Certainly no harm in tapping the cycling industry.
And lots of tennis, which
Kirsty's mum was just taking up tennis after a 40-year break.
Everyone
was surprised that she had a bad knee. It was hilarious. I mean, she came back from a tennis camp in Malaga. She's a fantastic sort of person for Kirsty and I to work on. I mean, she was in the hair and beauty industry. They had a wholesale business. They sold that and retired almost a year to the day we're making this podcast. Kirsty and I have always been involved in their business. And she epitomizes good skincare regime. I mean, she looks fantastic. Her skin is great. She has used products well and correctly for her whole life, but has never really looked after herself. I'm sure I might be saying, never really actively gone out to look after herself in the physical department. And the difference in her persona since she's got into the tennis club where we live, she practically runs the place. She's just so much happier. But the bit she missed out is that a 40-year break in her tennis career, running around the hard court and then going to a clay court they went to Malaga.
Yes.
For a week, and she played twice a day, and then she came back. She goes, "I've hurt myself, I think." And I was like, to be honest, I think all you've done is shocked your body more than anything. And so now, she's sort of having to put the physical side onto her well-being. That the other side of it
needs
is
to still work on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great. It's great to see someone, in retirement. I mean, they retired quite young, thankfully, but they make the most of it. But and even Kirsty's dad actually seeing the physical and mental benefits of getting out and doing stuff.
I mean, I've been surprised by the uptake of the Pilates Reformers. I mean, we've got guys in their 40s doing it for their low back pain, and then we've got 75-year-olds doing it because they want to hit a tennis ball around the courts.
Or hit a golf ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was interesting because my dad is just past 70 and has had 2 hip replacements and looks quite immobile at the moment. And mum is the other way. She's big into yoga, and certainly in the last 10 years has taken big steps to look after physical well-being. Dad has always taken it for granted. He's always been a good sportsman. He's always been able to hit a golf ball, hit a tennis ball. He's graduated from tennis to rackets, now to real tennis, and everyone knows there's an indoor version which is a lot more static, a bit more like squash. And he's still got the talent, but he feels like physically he can't keep up. And I still, it's hard because of maybe a generational thing, but he acts, or people think he looks less mobile than he was. But we were sitting around doing some yoga moves. He's actually still very flexible.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is pain. A lot of it, he's got a bad knee, which probably needs replacing at some point, and his hip replacement wasn't as good as the first one. But actually, he's still actually pretty flexible. And if he just did
a little bit more,
I think he'd see a huge
difference. There's a massive correlation
mainly
between,
in the pain relief.
Yeah, there's a massive correlation between hip flexibility and low back pain. So the more stretches that you can do around your hips, and the more flexibility we have in our hips, the less pain goes into the back.
And from personal experience, so obviously played rugby professionally for 11 years, got to the point where business was taking over, and I sort of felt it was a good time to stop. And I thought it was crazy, but I still stand by it. I was quite young at the time, but actually didn't do a lot for a year. Was tired from a lot of playing, and having your weekends back was nice, and actually started to get back pain. Because I was sitting at a desk, because I wasn't active, quite opposite to what you might have thought. And it's only recently I've solved that, and I've solved it by stretching. So this year I listened to a podcast, again, Tim Ferriss, a guy called David Goggins, who was a Marine in America. Actually, he was a Marine, Navy SEAL and Air Force Ranger all at once.
Wow.
And he's done phenomenal endurance things, but essentially broke his body. He just put it beyond what was reasonable and got it back together by stretching for 12 hours a day for 3 months. And now he does it 2 hours a day, but he literally felt the only way to get it back together. And he had chronic back pain and all these things. I mean, he was running 24 hours straight and doing really extreme things. So I listened to that podcast and I was like, do you know what? I had taken up running, which everyone said was bad for your back. Turns out no. So I did some running and stretched for an hour every day this year, and don't get out of bed with back pain anymore.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I committed like I generally do to overcommit, an hour every day, but it's worked. And actually, a lot of it, I mean, it's such a great thing mentally as well. Like the space to have an hour to carve out an hour to sit still and stretch. And so Layla, now we're going to Ibiza for 2 weeks, and Layla's last time we were there started yoga, and she's big into gymnastics, but obviously there's a lot else going on, and so we're committed to doing an hour a day. When it's sunny and outside, it's a lot easier, obviously.
Fantastic.
But she loves it, and obviously she loves it because she can do the splits. And she's obviously only 7, so
very flexible.
Yeah, exactly. We went to one of my favourite pictures of our last trip was Blue Marlin Beach Club, where Layla was on the beach in the swimming costume doing the splits in front of this hen party. So obviously we're a long way from being able to achieve that at that point. But it's just nice, and I hope she maintains that. But obviously, as you get older, it does take
tends
more
to stiffen
effort.
up a little.
It does, but hip flexors, hip mobility is where it's at.
Definitely, 100%.
And the beauty side of the business, any plans to expand that, or you've got the 2 treatment rooms that can be used for both? Is that right?
Yes, exactly. So no plans to expand it at the moment. We can be flexible between both the rooms, and we're offering the Pink's Boutique and the organic facials and obviously sales. And I think around here people are a lot more aware of what they're putting on their skin.
Yeah.
And so we tend to do more sales with the Pink's Boutique than other different brands and stuff.
It is one of the things that's been, I mean, we're now 8 years old, I think, and so obviously you learn a lot as you grow, and one of the things is there is a mindset, and people sort of at some point flip over into that sort of, as I was saying about getting that actually if you're eating well and being healthy, that you should also look at the chemicals that are in your life, not just skincare but cleaning products. And actually Kirsty at this moment is at Cowley Manor training their new pregnancy treatment, which is the first place in the UK to have it. There's 15 bespoke Pink's Boutique pregnancy treatments for every trimester, and it's just, even though it hasn't officially launched, it's just flown, because it's just one of those times in people's lives where they just start to consider everything.
Yes.
We're just launching, for the launch on the 26th of June, we're launching a new pregnancy ebook, which is actually going to be printed for Cowley, and it's basically a manual of, if you've just got pregnant and beyond, once you've had the baby, if you're worried about what skincare, if you're worried about what treatments, if you're worried about what you could, what nappies. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff in there that Kirsty, from being that person, obviously we already had an organic skincare brand, but she definitely went to another level when she was pregnant in terms of thinking about the things that go into your body. And her sister, funnily enough, who is just pregnant, in fact, during December, we sent her the book to proofread, just for no other reason that it was short micro relevant, and she was astounded. She was just like, this is exactly right. I mean, this is exactly how I now feel about looking after myself a bit better. We were talking about alcohol later. She's now obviously not drinking at the moment, but her skin has got better as a result. But the big
all the
reason,
extra collagen being produced,
exactly, all this exciting stuff that comes at that time in your life, and it's just a good point and an obvious point where people do start to look at that and become involved in not just the skincare element of it, but what they eat and how they feel, and so it's been really insightful. And obviously it is also something I don't think is done particularly well, the pregnancy treatments. I think people at college are told to be very careful of it and steer away from it, and a lot of that I think is just scaremongering and insurance, really. People are just not willing to put their hand up. But now that Kirsty's got these treatments ready for people at any stage in their pregnancy and beyond, I just think you can see why it's been so received. And as you say, it is a growing industry. We were at the Soil Association the other day, podcast 11 I think it was, we were sitting at the Soil Association talking about potentially certifying salons, so that people who are interested in treatments can find organically certified treatments.
Yes.
So they can walk along and know that that's somewhere they can go and they can be sure what is being used in the products and the products they're using are right for them, and just trying to get that message out there. But they were saying that it is growing. I mean, it's grown 20% in the last year in terms of their manufacturers and people making organic skincare certified, and also just the industry in as a whole has grown 11%, which in the current climate is
incredible, isn't it?
It's exciting times. I think that it's just people, once you've switched over, it's hard to go back.
Yes.
I mean, with anything, I mean, once you see, like I say, once you've stretched, once you've done Pilates, once you've been to a decent physio and seen the benefits,
you can't go back.
Absolutely.
No.
And so, how many have many people followed you from London, or is it?
Mark still travels up to London a couple of times a
Okay.
week when he's around, so there's a little bit of a crossover, but not a massive crossover. Is it safe?
Is it safe? So this is probably a perfect time to draw our podcast to close, because the
Lunch is being served.
The most amazing looking lunch has arrived by the most wonderful people. Which sort of rounds off nicely the whole physical well-being, holistic health, putting it all together in terms of, taking care of yourself from the outside and the inside.
Yep, you are what you eat.
And that is exactly what Pamper off Piste, Studio Zest and Pamper by the Pool is all about. So yeah, we'll put a link to the relevant sites, Kate's Empire below. Just a massive thank you for having me and for talking and for letting us know about the next step in your life and what I think is possibly the next step in beauty, basically.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the more places that can combine the two, I think they're going to see better results, have happier customers,
Definitely.
and a better life. That's awesome. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Luke.
Bye.
Bye-bye.